Let's co-create the shared vision for shared mobility.
World Auto Forum presents Yellow Plate Dialogues powered by Škoda.
And here it's time to begin with our first power panel discussion on main challenges and opportunities in fleet business. Ease of doing business, compliances, road safety, changing vehicle tech, IT systems, current situation, desirable scenario, and practical and sustainable solutions for win-win. I would like to introduce our panelists without any further ado. Let's welcome Mr. Rajiv, Chairman, Carzonrent. Sir, welcome, sir. The music is loud. We can be louder too. Yeah? Lovely. Welcome, sir. He's a visionary entrepreneur with deep domain expertise in car rental, automotive, travel, and tourism. He has successfully introduced and scaled leading global and rental leasing and travel brands in India, creating long-term value in the market. As the founder of Carzonrent, he built the company into India's leading car rental brand, transforming the country's mobility landscape. Welcome, sir. Thank you. Now, I would like to call Mr. Karun Gupta, Head of Fleet Sales, JSW MG Motors, India. Welcome, welcome. He is heading the fleet sales for JSW MG Motors India Private Limited, an experienced automobile professional with 20 plus years of expertise in B2B sales, fleet management, leasing and electric mobility solutions, passionate about driving sustainable transportation, building customer-focused strategies, and sharing insights on the future of mobility. Next, I would like to call Mr. Prravesh Dangi, Lead Corporate Sales, Škoda India, CPO and Allied Business. Welcome, welcome, sir. He is a seasoned sales professional with over 22 years of extensive experience across diverse functions in the automotive industry, including new car sales, institutional sales, used car business, and allied devices. He has worked with some of the most respected brands in the industry, including Bosch, Maruti Suzuki, and Isuzu Motors India Limited, where he has consistently delivered high-impact results. Can you all clap like we have all won an Oscar for this? Lovely, lovely. Okay, so now it's time for me to bring forth Mr. Bikash Madan, CEO, WTicabs. Sir. Welcome, sir. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. He's an accomplished leader with 35 plus years of experience, proven expertise in building and scaling businesses across India, Asia, EMEA, and South America. Skilled in global expansion, strategic planning, sales management, M&A, and performance-driven execution, with a strong track record of driving growth, operational excellence alongside. Welcome, sir. I'm not going forward. Lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, now it's time for me to call Mr. Anil Chhikara, former Deputy Commissioner Transport, Government of NCT of Delhi. Welcome, sir. It's an absolute pleasure to see you again. He is recognized for reforms in road safety, policy and tech-driven modernization. With experience in government and the auto industry, he actively engages in public forums, advocating transparency, innovation and sustainable mobility solutions. We welcome you, sir. Can we clap? Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now I would like to call Mr. Kapil Sharma, COO, Evera Cabs. Welcome, sir. He is an IIM Calcutta alumni, leverages leadership experience at Uber and Shuttle to advance sustainable mobility. With expertise in EV adoption, strategy and operations, he is passionate about scaling innovative transport solutions and shaping India's green mobility ecosystems for the future. We welcome you, sir. And last but not the least, the man who doesn't need introductions here, who's leading this entire panel discussion like the gardener, Mr. Anuj, Guglani once again for all of you. Before we begin, Anuj sir has already done the needful, but I would still like to call forth somebody from the hotel staff. to come and give you a few tips on safety. Can we have, yes,
right,
please,
right
please. May I have your name? Mr. Akash is going to give you a few tips. Please come forward. And after that, it's over to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Akash. I am a safety officer here. I am just taking few minutes about a brief the safety. Our building is fully occupied with FLS system, just fire life safety. We have the sprinkler system, CCTV system, smoke detector system, and our assembly point is on ground level and near the entrance, banquet porch. And we have the trained first aid team as well FLS team. They will allotted in during the event on the same floor on till evening. And also we have the trained FLS team. They are also allotted in same floor on. Thank you so much, sir.
Akash, one question. अगर कोई अलार्म बजता है तो वो एक्चुअली आ गया या ड्रिल है? Is any drill planned for the day?
No, sir. At least today we don't have any drill, and in case if you follow any instruction or alarm, just follow the instruction, evacuate the area and proceed the assembly area. Already we briefed our assembly area at ground level, their exit entrance on their right side, sir.
Thank you, Akash. Friends, actually why I asked this question, because that's the most common reason for, casualties and injuries. Alarm goes off, people think, बच गया होगा गलती से, try कर रहे होंगे, test कर रहे होंगे, drill होगी. But it's actually, so that's why this question is very important. Any drill planned for the day or not? So you can see how particular we are for safety. Similarly, when it's mobility, we have to be, very particular for road safety. So by the way, in the introduction, ये साहब सिर्फ IIM से नहीं है, ये IIT से भी हैं. तो he is IIT IIM. So, ठीक है ना जी? तो fantastic. So can you please show the topic of the panel, please? So friends, we are here today to discuss real issues. We are here to discuss practical issues. As I mentioned, this would be seen by many people, watched by many people. So we are here to discuss what are the main challenges and opportunities. If anyone is there in a business as an entrepreneur or as an employee, as an investor, they want to know how can they overcome some challenges, because challenges and opportunities tend to be common, right? So if we can share some best practices around that. Second, by the way, we were supposed to get someone from the government, but that person got transferred. So that person did not come. Otherwise, we would have had a good, nice, interactive thing on ease of doing business. And I'm sure all of you would have grilled him. Ye nahi theek, wo nahi theek, ye problem, wo problem. But then, any which ways, the videos will reach. So something on ease of doing business. What are those bottlenecks where we suffer day in and day out? How can business be streamlined? As they say, less friction. And then the business compliances. In fact, once I heard one fleet operator say, "Sara theka ke humne liya hua hai." Someone I know, his son is 18 years old. He can drive a car at whatever speed he wants. He hardly knows driving. But my driver with 25 years experience, he has a speed governor and all the compliances. So, so such issues, And in fact, a very basic question. Do we actually need a yellow plate or the same color plate? Why this segregation? Let's ask basic questions, And so road safety, of course, vehicle technology is changing with so much speed. We have EV, we have hybrid, hydrogen soon, flex fuel, this, that. Viability, ROI, but this is for business. This is not for flaunting. Which technology has the best ROI? How can we enhance and optimize the ROI? Where can we reduce the expenses? And IT systems, we know digital is everything. What kind of dashboards are we using or we should use to make our businesses efficient, effective and productive? तो ये सब चीज़ें हैं दोस्तों. So current situation, desirable scenario and practical sustainable solution for win-win. So if we can start with Kapil. आप मेरे साथ बैठे हो तो sorry, you are bad luck. We start with you.
Thank you, Vef, for having us on this podium. Quickly, I think broadly on the yellow plate framework, I would say there are two sort of challenges that I can foresee as on date. One is definitely the driver economy, which we are now facing challenges as compared to, how the gig has evolved for the logistics sector. So this is one area which is going to be crucial for fleet management practices from here on. Abhi tak it was at forefront, but now it is taking back seat. So sourcing more drivers has become even more challenging nowadays, given the gig economy is booming and the logistic side having more benefits for them. So this is one. Second, specifically, I think as Anuj also pointed out, when I was with Uber, we were trying to figure out why this yellow plate is required. I think we have examples in the Western countries where such differentiation is not there, right? But now that we are also progressing as a country, I think this is one area where the differences can be reduced, because of which we would get higher utilization of the vehicles which are already on the road. It may sound negative for the OEMs because the cars would then be less sold, but I think it gives the flexibility to individuals, which is another way to get more cars on the road, seeing that, okay, I will use it for, let's say, 2 days or 3 days in a week or a month, but rest of the days I can use it for somewhere else. So largely this differentiation is the challenging point, or I would say could be the unlock for the next big thing in this space. So these are two things on the yellow plate side.
Kapil, एक point, everybody wants to listen from you. You are pure EV.
Yes.
A lot of people say EV में पैसे नहीं बनते या उसमें problems आती हैं. So what is your take on that? How do you manage these challenges?
Okay, so I'm coming to that. So basically the second portion that I want to talk about is the fleet management side of it. How we are running cars and catering trips and all those things. I would be more specific on EVs because, as Anuj said, we are running a company called Evera Caps, which primarily into corporates meeting their ESG mandates on the green kilometer side, as well as now we recently forayed into the B2C side as well, where we are just doing airport specific transfers or hourly rentals, keeping ourselves very niche, not going into the route of ride hailing, which is Ola and Uber have tried. So in that segment, we used to hear, I think it start from even the government level conversations when we used to had, in fact last 5 years, that chalane mein to bahut sasta hai EV, so it should make sense for everyone, right? And we used to hear that, we grown ourselves hearing that, but when we actually put cars on the road, we realized that the things are very different. Number one, it's not about higher cost of the car, which all of us know. It's not about financing solutions where uncertainty about the product is there, and hence, which is a genuine concern for the financing agencies to not have good viable solutions around it, but largely it is for the one who is driving the car, the driver. The real challenge the driver is facing that since beginning all of them don't have parkings, number one, which even complicated for ICE cars as well, but for EVs, parking ke saath aapko charging bhi lagega, so that is next level of complication. So to solve that, to make the cars on the road, fleet operators like us started putting hubs, creating charging hubs, engaging large parking lots, putting it infrastructure and everything, which is an additional cost for sure, but I think additional hassle for the driver. So if I am a driver, think of my life, if I am running a ICE car, I can wake up in the morning, pick my car which is probably standing here and there or in the next gully where all the driver fellows are living. I can use it, I can go and come back in the evening after my duty offs. But when it's EV, I have to pick my bike or I have to book a taxi or a auto to go to certain metro station or to go to certain hub, which takes me at least 1 hour to make this arrangement. And then I am able to sit on the car to make the money. So effective and reverse is also applicable in the evening as well.
Plus also charge the vehicle middle of the day, there also time goes.
Yeah, so that is inefficiency challenge that we are foreseeing. Definitely now the better cars, better BMS allowing more fast charging, all those are there, but still there is an anxiety for which one has to invest 1 to 2 hours of the day, which is 20% of their earning hours just to sake of ensuring that they don't fall away. Right? So this is the real challenge from the driver community, and I think that leads to a bigger challenge for EV fleets, which is driver come owner adoption, because this industry has been driving the business last 20 years. We are seeing Carzonrent has been the pioneer into it. DCO community is the one who actually builds gives the shape of the business when it comes to fleet management. But for EVs, I don't see this happening at least for a few more years, because driver will not be able to make all those adjustments and arrangements for chargings. Definitely the financing part is another layer of challenge. So these are the key.
What about resale value of these EV cabs?
See, right now there is no resale value. It's how the communication and the conversation goes. We have seen the examples of recent debacle where people have taken car in 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees as well, which is just 10%, 15% of the price which they bought within 2 to 3 years. Effectively, we feel like having the battery passport, which is also the new thing that is happening in the industry, giving more visibility on the usage of the battery as well as reliability side of it. I think this should add value, and that is where the secondary use case or end of the life use case, having recycling options in the market would add up to the overall pie of resale value going forward. But still, it's very nascent.
एक मुद्दे की बात which people wanted to ask us, we got the questions. People want to know आज की तारीख में today's day क्या EV कैब में पैसे बन रहे हैं, यूनिट इकोनॉमिक्स में क्या स्केलेबल है, और नहीं बनने तो कब बनेंगे? सर ये द नेशन वांट्स टू नो सर, वैफ नेशन।
देखिए हमने जब इवेरा कैब स्टार्ट करी तो हमारा थॉट था कि यार ईवी का राइड हेलिंग बनाते हैं, मतलब ऊबर ऑफ ईवी बनाते हैं. दैट वाज द ओरिजिनल थॉट एंड आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ आवर कॉम्पिटिटर्स थॉट दैट वे इन 2019, 2020. But the path that we have chosen is because of this question only. How this car will make money. So we then lost, we leave everything apart and just pick the pieces where we can get premiumness in the service so that we can charge higher fares and effectively meet the obligations on the cost side. Otherwise, तो TCO level पे तो I think 15% तो off है CNG से, especially Delhi market, which is the most competitive in India.
I think these were golden words. I don't think IIT, IIM, हार्वर्ड में भी आपको ये पॉइंट मिल पाता जो अभी आपको कपिल ने बोला है.
चलाने से मिलेगा.
चलाने से मिलेगा भैया. When the car is on the road. Now switching gears, coming to the guru of gurus of the industry, Vid Saab, just before COVID, you did something smartest. People are really jealous of you. You liquidated all your cars, and now it's all in the aggregator model, and it's doing pretty well for you. So, sir, on the aggregator model, vis-a-vis ownership, and then which technology of vehicle, which fuel is best, and which are the general opportunities and challenges you see? Because you've been there for a while. You know the industry in and out. What are your golden words for the industry?
Let me first of all thank you, Anuj, because this yellow plate dialogue is something which this industry has been looking for a long time. And the fact that you and Word Auto Forum team has worked on this and has brought all the industry stakeholders together on this platform is something which we really respect and appreciate, because it will help everybody in the industry. And let me come to this issue of an asset heavy or an asset light model in a little while. Let me first touch on this issue of the yellow plate itself. This is something which I think is a necessary reform that is required in India, because there is no rationale for having a different identification and regulate this sector the way that it is regulated in India, because the only thing that it does is that it increases the risk for a buyer of a car. You see today, and we have gone and argued this with the government people multiple times, and it's not only Uber and Ola who do this. We also do this because it is important for this industry. You see, the only concern that the government should have is whether there is safety and whether there is insurance or not. And we have been telling them that what you must do, which is what has been done in many parts of the world, is that you must insist that if a car, whether you purchase it for your personal use, you purchase it for your commercial use, these distinctions, a private car, a commercial car, and within a commercial car, a meter taxi, a intercity taxi, a self-drive car. This is very, very cumbersome, and it just increases the capital risk, the investment risk for anybody who wants to be in this industry. See, what happens is you buy a car. Today maybe you can afford a car for your personal use. Tomorrow, unfortunately, If you need to run that car to earn some money, you should be able to do that. Yes, the important thing is that it must be appropriately insured. Great. So have a portal. Everybody who wants to do that will go on that portal, will take the insurance, and will then register his car that he wants to now drive it for this purpose. But to say that, oh, once you have bought a car which is for a particular kind of commercial use, that's the only thing that you can do with this car, otherwise you will have to sell it for a significant loss. That makes no sense, and my belief is that if this risk is removed, if this anomaly is removed from the system, this whole sector will see a much larger number of vehicles, much better vehicles, much better drivers who will drive these cars. Because when we all travel, we must have seen in a lot of places, there are people who have retired from very good jobs, who have done businesses in the past. Now, in their retirement, they have decided to drive their car for a while and make some money. All of that will happen. You will also then get drivers in this who will be educated, who will be wanting to do this maybe over the weekend. There are a lot of students who drive cars all over the world. I mean, I was in Australia recently. This guy who was driving the taxi, he was actually a chef. And I said, why do you drive a car? He said, well, I like driving a car because I like meeting people. That improvement in this sector is something which will do a lot of good to this sector. And I, you said the government representative has not come, but I think that is something which we must figure out a way to push the government to do this. Who all will benefit is not important, but the entire sector will benefit. And I think that is important.
So one thing I promise you from the WAF stage, that these words, we will ensure they reach the top echelons of the government think tanks and decision makers. Your voice will surely reach there. That's a promise.
Thank you so much. The second issue, and I think you raised this issue of what is the business model. Today actually, as of now, it has become fashionable for everybody to say that I have a asset-light business model. People who take cars on lease, they also say I have an asset-light business model because my balance sheet does not show those cars on my books. You see, first of all, I think we must all understand one basic thing. A vehicle is a depreciating asset, and therefore having this asset on your books or not is unimportant. It is not an asset. When you buy a car, you are actually buying a liability. You are not buying an asset. We transitioned from an asset heavy model to an asset light model as a strategy. Most players in the industry right now have a hybrid kind of model. They own a percentage of cars, they take cars from some people, they also purchase some cars, give to drivers, they lease some cars. All of that is done. As a company, Carzonrent in 2014, and at that time we used to own about 8,000 cars. In 2014, we decided that we, as a part of our strategy, will transition to an asset-light business model. And the reason that we did that is because we believe that in the transportation industry, there are two very critical things that are very, very important for this industry. Autonomous cars will happen when they happen. The car is to be driven by a human being. It is not possible to supervise this human being when he is out on duty. You can use all kinds of technology, and as of now, we haven't still reached a stage where 24/7 you can do this, and even if that technology is there would be privacy issues and all kinds of issues that will come in. The issue really is as to how do you ensure that this person who is going to drive the car, to whom the industry hands over their customer, which is the most valuable asset that anybody in this industry has. When you hand over that customer to this driver to drive him, how is this guy going to behave? You can do all the training, but it's a human being. There are emotions. There are good days for him. There are bad days for him. There are issues that you cannot control. And my experience, therefore doing it is that the model, and that's my belief, and you know, I'm not pushing anybody in the industry to take this word. My belief is that it's critical that this human being who is going to drive the car, he must know that his earnings are going to be directly related to the revenue that this car generates on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And second, he must have a long-term interest in that asset that he drives. If these two things are not there, and you know, you can have any kind of model, if these two things are not there, anybody will continue to have challenges in the operation. Our experience, when we did this, immediately these issues of fuel chori, because you know, that's the issue that disappears when you have an EV, that issue of fuel chori disappeared. किसकी फ्यूल चोरी करेगा भाई, गाड़ी तो उसकी है, उसी ने फ्यूल डालना है, कहां से जाके वर्कशॉप में पैसे उसके कमीशन लेगा, अपनी तो गाड़ी है, अपने ही पैसे देने हैं उसको, क्यों जाके आराम से गाड़ी नहीं चलाएगा, एक्सीडेंट मारेगा, गाड़ी खराब करेगा, पंचर हो जाएगी, चलाता रहेगा, वर्कशॉप में गाड़ी 4 दिन तक खड़ी रहेगी, उसको ठीक नहीं कराएगा. All those issues disappear. You know, we were able to reduce our operating costs significantly when we transitioned to this model. We were also able to see a complete change in behavior of those drivers who were drivers earlier and now became owners come drivers. You know, this famous thing that everybody talks about, DCO. The moment they become driver come owner, then they care about the customer, then they care about the car. You know, many parts of India and in this industry, we still have cars which run for 7 years, 10 years, even more than 10 years, maybe 15 years. But some of those cars are always immaculately clean, very well maintained. Nothing happens to them. And I think therefore that model is something which, you know, there can be different configurations of that model. But these two critical things are something that are important. And that every player must figure out a way to get that.
I think beautiful words, Vitsa. So DCO model really works. You know, one quick question on that, and then we move to Karun. A lot of people observe that, especially in services like, you know, the aggregator model like Uber, if the driver is also the owner, they tend to get slightly arrogant with the customer. You know, slightly arrogant. Have you observed that, or you've experienced?
You know, I think this can be a perception. I don't believe that they become arrogant. I think instead of arrogance, what we have witnessed at least is that they become more caring about the customer, because their revenue depends on the satisfaction level of that customer. They want that customer to come back to them and ask for them again and again. That improves the utilization of their car, that improves their income. The second thing is, you know, this asset light, etc. If anybody in this industry thinks that because you have now moved to an asset light model, the rest of the issues, the processes, the technology, the training, the induction, the verification, all of that disappears. No, that will remain your responsibility. If you don't own that responsibility, then you can have all kinds of problems.
Fair enough, fair enough. तो उसको कहीं से किराया भी आ रहा होगा, तभी arrogant हो गया होगा. So switching gears, so Karun, you have been leading institutional sales for JSW MG Motor India for so many years now, and of course you sell ICE, you sell EV, and you've sold so many cars to so many fleet companies, operators. You've seen their struggles, challenges, opportunities. So if there were some golden words from your side on business viability, what have your learnings been? How can the fleet operators earn more, earn better, optimize their operations in ICE and EV, both as use cases?
So thanks, Anuj. So, yes, we've been talking to all the stalwarts who are present here also and getting their wisdoms how we can operate it. So I think two things, what primary challenges, what we hear very often from all these operators is first is the driver's issue. There's a availability or a lack of availability of good drivers or the drivers per se, the drivers come and go. That is one. And second is the operational efficiencies. So I think our take on that is on the first part, which is the driver's problem, whether it's a DCO or whether it's a salaried driver, that's a secondary part of it. But I think as an industry, we need to co-create an entire ecosystem wherein it becomes kind of a part of an employment journey for tier 2, tier 3 town youngsters, train them, get them a job, and so it becomes a whole ecosystem. You generate employment, then you train them, and then you provide a job to them as a driver. So I think that is something which as an industry may be happening in bits and pieces, but as a consolidated, as an industry, if something can be done on that, that can help and solve the issue of drivers also. Second, on the operational part, which is the operational efficiencies, I think it's very critical for operators to start, and some of them are already using it, to have an adoption of more and more technologies, especially into the corporate business, in the B2B space of it. Because what I foresee, maybe in next 3 to 5 years, there will be couple of 3-4 tech players, kind of a SaaS platforms, who becomes the Ola and Uber of the B2B corporate rental space. So instead of that, it's better for the operators to start adopting technology to improve the operational efficiency, and that reduces the cost. And also with especially on the EVs, we are at the cusp of, I think, seeing a majority of the growth in the EVs. We are seeing that phenomenal growth in the retail space. Just to give you a figure, like we have almost grown by almost 250% as an industry, EV industry, vis-a-vis last year till now. And which is happening in the, I would say, the fleet segment also. And with the connected cars, it becomes very easy through tech to monitor those cars, the EVs, since all the cars are connected. So you have better operational efficiencies to reduce further costs down. So one is of course, the running cost is lower on the EVs. The maintenance cost is lower. But secondly, the operational efficiency can be further improved by using the tech. And that's more from the B2B employee transport side perspective, where there are a number of trips are being planned. B2C, I think Kapil and all, they know better how they are doing it. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Prravesh, you are heading the institutional sales business for Škoda Auto India. And Škoda, has been powering and has big plans for powering the fleet sales. And in fact, I also feel, like we also at VAF, we keep hiring cars left, right, and center. And it's the same brands each time, more or less 2-3 brands. If a high-end premium brand like a Škoda or a VW, or an MG, they come, but I would actually be ready to pay a premium. Even in Uber Black, you have the ZS EV, and there's a premium you pay for that. So at the end of the day, I feel, what does a fleet salesperson need? If he or she can earn a little premium, and if he or she can get a good deal on the acquisition cost, if we can give a nice service package, tell them ki aapko ye Maruti, Tata, Mahindra, whatever ABC brands you're used to, okay, I'll give you a package. It will not exceed that amount. And then the vehicle gets sold 2 years, 3 years, whatever time. You come back to me, you take the next Škoda or the next, the same brand. I'll give you a nice resale offer also. I'll just put something bundle. So if something like this comes, then, so all the fleet operator leaders, would you be ready? Would it make sense for you? Yes or no? You can charge a premium. You get a good deal on the acquisition cost. Your service cost is capped. And you can get a good deal on resale if you exchange in the same family. Would you go for it? Looks nice? Looks nice. So Prravesh, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks Anuj for setting up the stage for me. So since we are already only into IC segment, we don't have EV and don't have alternative fuels as of now. So we have been a late entrant into fleet business. So I joined 8 months back in Škoda. So we started thinking on that we are missing out a big volume for fleet business. So we started discussing, and finally in January and February we got a major hiccup covered, that is 80 speed governor, 80 the speed governor, which was a major challenge in Škoda. So initially we got an approval, we managed technology at our plant level and R&D level. So the first variant which we introduced was Slavia base variant, manual transmission, which we did. And then since 10 years I've been working with Isuzu and worked a lot of with fleet owners on a truck side, LCV side. So I've known the lot of pains the industry goes in trucks. Maybe that is not the case in passenger, but as far as the light commercial vehicles are concerned, there are a lot of hiccups. The driver concerns are there. So I started tabulating the reasons, what are the challenges in passenger cab segment, taxi segment. So the major challenge which I found is, normally we talk ease of business from government perspective, but I think it is from manufacturer's perspective also, how we can jointly work on fleet segment. That is very important. So what we decided, that we should try to make some customized warranty programs, service packages for fleet industry, so that basically we are giving them an opportunity to make themselves free from hassles from the vehicle side, because already they have hassles from driver side, operational side. So that from that point of view we started thinking, then we have come up with a lot of innovative solutions. So to help you out, that is what we have taken. And in terms of, since Škoda, we have a common vertical for corporate sales and used car sales. So what Anuj set up a context, that with you buying a Škoda, then after 3 years you can come down to me again asking for a new Škoda, and I can give you a better resale value for that. That is what I would say.
Fantastic. So I think perhaps you might get a lot of business if you can do all these 3-4 things. Because there is no other thing left. मतलब मैंने भी देखा, life में भी basic चीज़ें होती हैं. Like if I quote my RWA's example, people are always fighting on the WhatsApp group. I told them, hey, there are just 6-7 issues of the colony. ये 6-7 issues solve हो जाएंगे, problem solved है. कैटल नहीं आना चाहिए, गोबर नहीं आना चाहिए, स्ट्रीट लाइट काम करनी चाहिए, स्पीड ब्रेकर होना चाहिए, ओवर स्पीडिंग नहीं होनी चाहिए, CCTV होना चाहिए. That's it. There is no other problem. कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. ये डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, let's eat their head. नहीं करेंगे, let's file a writ petition. It's so simple. So even I feel, if we just do those 3-4 things, getting business would be a side effect. It'll happen on its own. It's as simple as that. So switching gears again. So coming to Bikash ji. So दोस्तों, Bikash ji has been working for a very long time in the fleet sales industry, and that is exactly 2 weeks. But he has decades and decades of experience in business, in entrepreneurship, and not just in India, but all over the world. So, Bikash ji, we would like to hear from you, whatever you have learned in those other businesses, how would you love to apply in fleet sales so that, we get a fresh perspective? Freshness is what we're looking for.
I love that intro, because I feel like the largest small guy on this forum right now with all the industry veterans. But I'll tell you my 2-week sort of pickup in this industry. First of all, I think it's very funny. I come very largely from the telecom world, and our largest issues used to be efficient routing of the network, right of way, तार जाएगी कहाँ से, devices that will go on the field, how will you charge the hell out of them? There's no points on the way to charge them. And then scheduling of technicians, and then the availability of technicians, so skilling constantly. I think in some ways the US has given birth to the whole concept of AI and robotics, because this constant issue of skilled manpower continues to wade, and in their case also at a very high cost. So lot of things that I've heard, I'll take a few seconds to talk about the yellow plate conversation, and this is just my take as the outsider. I have my own confusions, because if I take a camera and I take a picture individually versus a photographer using the same camera, I'm not sure if there is a license process that needs to come in. Similarly for the cars. Now, fleet delivery, if we have food delivery guys on a motorbike delivering a product versus fleet operators delivering a passenger, I'm not sure how that changes the need for licensing. Okay. So these are anomalies which I'm sure the experts in this room are working at, but I'm sort of giving the layman's view on. There is a big issue. You know, we've freed up a whole new economy by not getting into those rules and regulations for food delivery. It's high time we cut those chains off on the passenger delivery side of things, right? I think part of the issue is also carrying the legacy of the word cabs, which WTicabs still does, and I think we'll sort of look at it. But this whole industry does so much more than being just a cab today. You know, there's a whole old definition of cab. This is smart transportation, this is transport aggregation, there is a whole lot of progress on being even a technology operator. So there is a misnomer कि यार taxi का license होना चाहिए. It's no longer just that, right?
Badge is also
it changes everything. So the whole glasses that you need to look at, or we all need to look at, I guess needs to change from that perspective. How we get there is a whole different conversation. So on the question of challenges, ease of doing business, again, part of what we used to always do in operations is look at the whole supply chain. You know, and it's funny because we have dealt with 10,000 components in telecom manufacturing and then whatever. Here, when you break it down, there are two raw materials, the car and the driver. And I've never seen a challenge that 10,000 components could give you that these two components in this industry can give you, right? So I think first focus, again, people who are going to drive the car, you know, I agree with all the stalwarts here. There is a whole ecosystem build that is required very closely.
Bikash ji, you've handled businesses for so long. So the people factor, the human element is always common across businesses.
Absolutely.
So when you look at it with a fresh perspective, this industry, because you know, as even Karun mentioned, a lot of fleet operators share, yeah, drivers ki issues hote hain and this, that, operational efficiency. As a innovative or an outsider freshness perspective, what do you feel can be few 2-3 things which can actually help us optimize driver efficiency and their welfare?
So it's a lot of things, right? There's a whole, take the example of this website, Urban Company, right? They adopted businesses which were completely commoditized. They brought on people who were unskilled or semi-skilled, and they've actually managed to standardize it. They've actually managed to condition behavior, and I'm sure a lot of people, especially women if they were here, and people who are using these salon services at home, the standards there are standards now, which were never there, right? So we are dealing with a similar situation. It's just that there was a concerted effort. One website, one company doing this for a small ecosystem is like building a Singapore. In our case, it's like building an India. So the scale of the problem is much larger. But I think if you sort of join hands and come at it, it probably gets to the same position anyway. Now, tech can play a very big part in it. But I think it's one thing to say how tech can make life easier for the fleet operators. There is another thing to say, can we look at tech that is easy for the driver to use? And until we cross that hump in this whole journey, the adoption won't happen. So we can do a lot of fancy thinking, but unless the guy on the ground, people at the edge pick it up, it's not going to get real.
You mentioned about Singapore.
Yeah.
I was there last month. मुझे वहाँ जाके बहुत गुस्सा आया, पता है? मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आया वहाँ जाके. मुझे इतना गुस्सा आया कि यहाँ हर चीज़ यहाँ इतनी ऑर्गेनाइज और साफ कैसे हो सकती है? How can everything be so organized or so clean? I was very angry. मैं कहा, how can they manage this? ये तो impossible है. But do you think it can have some effect? We can have some Singapore in India as well? Yes. And how far it can be time-wise?
बड़ा अजीब सा example है ये. If you drive from Delhi to Shimla today, the road network that you get to see today, it literally proves if you go at it hard enough, you can move mountains. Right?
Literally and actually.
So, I think if there is a whole policy in the concerted set, the pains are common on this platform. If the solution set becomes common to a point, absolutely.
Fantastic. So now coming to Chhikara साहब, so दोस्तों almost हर issue cover हो गया जो हमने panel पे हमने सोचा था. एक cover नहीं हुआ, अब वो Chhikara साहब उसका पूरा close करेंगे. Chhikara साहब is a former deputy commissioner. transport department. So Chhikara Saab, ease of doing business, licensing, compliances. You have worked for decades. You have worked with OEMs. You have worked with the government. You are running road safety campaigns. ये सब कहते नहीं है, करके दिखाते हैं. And you have seen the pain of the transporters. अब आपके हिसाब से practically ease of doing business में क्या होना चाहिए, fleet versus government?
अनुज जी, मेरा पोटेंशियल इतना हाई है, मैं बैठ के नहीं, मैं खड़े होके बात कर रही हूँ.
Please, sir, please unleash your full potential, sir.
So Anuj ji, congrats that you have created exclusive panel for yellow plates. Or yellow plates, as we all aware, I mean, we have two kinds of registration exhibit. One is yellow, another is white. And we are sitting mostly yellow plate partner. And you know what is the total percentage when compared to other one? We are only 2.5%. Yellow plates are 2.5%. Rest are 97.5%. So we have got two genders. So, and you will find a very big discrimination. One is independent and yellow plates are slaves. I will be using metamorphic words, but it is my insight. For yellow plates, all the restrictions there. You have high road tax, permit fee, high toll, no entry, fitness, speed governor, GPS, very high insurance, and commercial driving license, and so many. The operations are so much that it can consume whole day. And what is this totally? You call it as a yellow plate, but I call it as a yellow currency.
Sorry, yellow what?
Yellow currency.
Yellow currency, okay.
हाँ, आप सड़क पे जिसको देखोगे लूट लेगा उसको. आपको अगर रोड रेज होगी तो भी उसके ड्राइवर की पिटाई होगी. क्योंकि क्या है कि हम लोगों ने, मतलब क्या हो कि आप पूरे विदेशों में देखा है, ये येलो प्लेट कंसेप्ट पहले था, आज की तारीख में मुश्किल से 10 कंट्रीज में बचा होगा. हर एक आदमी ने, मतलब हर एक सरकार ने ये ब्रेक थ्रू कर लिया है. ऑल आइडेंटिफिकेशन इज ऑन द सेम कलर, बट वी आर स्टिल ड्रैगिंग विद द सेम डेकोरेनियन लॉ. मतलब पुराने ऐसे कानून जिसमें कि हम फंसे हुए हैं. और हमारे जो भी चेंजेस हुए हैं, वो सारे चेंजेस जो हुए हैं, दे आर कॉस्मेटिक वन. You may be finding our ministers saying.
सर तब तो आप थे ना सर सरकार में, मतलब जो.
अरे सर मैं भी सरकार में हूँ. I am part of it.
Just joking.
मैं एडमिट करता हूँ. और कभी कभी क्या होता है कि जब मैं बात करता हूँ हार्डकोर इश्यूज में, सतीश जी सामने है. एक बार 1 साल पहले देयर वर डिस्कशंस, तो आई वाज जस्ट मेंशनिंग माय हर्ट वॉइस. तो क्या हुआ कि 1 घंटा हम लेट हो गए थे लंच के बाद. और मैंने कहा कि जी अब तो सेशन ख़त्म करना है. तो सतीश जी बोलते हैं कि रोटी तो हम रोजे खाए हैं, लेकिन आज जैसी बात हम जो कर रहे हैं ना, ये कभी नहीं हुई. तो मैं भी आज आपको वही चीज़ें आपको बताना चाह रहा हूँ. यू आर डूइंग बिजनेस एवरी डे, बट द थिंग्स आई कैन शेयर यू will be the maybe
for everyone's information, those who don't know, Satish Saravaji, वैसे everybody knows him. Satish Saravaji is the president of ITTA, a 6 decades old body of Transporters and Tourist Association, one of the apex bodies for transportation and tourist.
अब जो हमने किया है कि सबसे पहले जो आपको मैं बताता हूँ कि कॉस्मेटिक चेंज हमने किया है. वी आर टॉकिंग दैट वी हैव डन द ऑनलाइन सर्विसेज. और ऑनलाइन सर्विसेज में नाउ अब मैं मतलब ऐसी चीज़ें आपको बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि आप भी मे बी यू आर हेयरिंग फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. हमने डिजिटलाइजेशन किया और आज की तारीख में यू विल फाइंड योर ड्राइवर्स कैन गेट ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस विदाउट अपीयरिंग इन द टेस्ट और विदाउट अपीयरिंग टू द RTOs. So अब क्या हुआ है कि anybody can issue or can undertake his test by cyber cafe or any other fellow. Fitness, 50,000 vehicles of Delhi had been passed from so many states without visiting over there. and we are talking about road safety and traffic. We are paying lakhs of fines to traffic police.
इसको तो PIL होनी चाहिए सर.
अरे सर अब आप थोड़ी देर बस मैंने बात कहा था कि मुझे 5 मिनट एक्सक्लूसिव दे देना. तो आपने हर रोज अब ट्रैफिक फाइन हो रहा है. हैव यू सीन एनी SOP मेड? मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट ने इश्यू किया ट्रैफिक ऑफेंसेस एंड दे आर बीन प्रैक्टिसाइज्ड, बट एवरीबडी इन अ डिफरेंट मैनर. हम लोगों को CCTV पे लगाए जा रहे हैं फाइन. हैव एनीबडी क्लेम दैट व्हाट इज द SOP ऑफ CCTV? हम लोगों ने जो अभी तक ट्रैफिक पुलिस का अभी जो विक्टिम है हम, वो क्या करते हैं कि दे आर जस्ट काउंटिंग द ऑफेंसेस नंबर, दे आर नॉट टारगेटिंग द ऑफेंडर्स. ये सारी चीजें कि हमारे को चेंज करने की जरूरत है.
टॉकिंग अबाउट कैमरा, सर जो हाई सिक्योरिटी कैमराज हैं, इसका एक अलग चैलेंज है. वो HSRP को स्कैन करते हैं, वो HSRP 6 महीने में तो फेड हो जाती है, नंबर नजर नहीं आता, क्योंकि वो इतनी घटिया क्वालिटी की होती है. दिखाते हैं वो स्विस स्टैंडर्ड, देते हैं वो लोकल चीप चाइनीज क्वालिटी, नंबर स्कैन नहीं होता. हिट एंड रन केसेस 8 और अबेट होते हैं.
सर बताएं ना,
तो ये सर HSRP की क्वालिटी क्यों नहीं इंप्रूव होती है? तो सरकार क्यों घटिया क्वालिटी लेती है फ्रॉम वेंडर्स?
यही तो बताया. डिड यू फाइंड एनी लीडरशिप इन द ट्रांसपोर्टेशन इन स्टेट एज वेल एज इन द सेंटर? कोई है? आप कभी मैं आपको बड़ी इश्यूज है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट के. आई हैव टॉक टू सीनियर मोस्ट पीपल, दे आर ऑल्सो फीलिंग हेल्पलेस. मैं बताया कि सर ये मेरिट है. बोले जी मेरिट जब तक नहीं करेंगे जब तक मंत्री साहब नहीं बोलेंगे. अच्छा हम मंत्री साहब के पास भी गए. अब मैं आपको परसों की बात बताता हूँ, सतीश जी भी वहीं पे ही थे. हमारे टूर ऑपरेटर्स ने कहा कि रेड बस, रेड बस वाले जो, तो दे आर प्रोवाइडिंग इंटरनेशनल क्वालिटी ऑफ सर्विसेज. दे आस्क्ड कि सर हमारे को ISBTs पे मतलब जो स्टेट टर्मिनल्स पे वी आर नॉट गेटिंग शेयरिंग फॉर द सर्विसेज. तो हमारे मिनिस्टर साहब ने भी कहा कि इट इज़ ए कंकरेंट सब्जेक्ट, यू हैव टू परसू द स्टेट्स. हमने वहाँ पर इश्यू बनाया, मतलब हमने तो नॉर्म्स बनाए. तो तब उसके बाद में एक मुझे भी सेशन था मेरा. तब देन आई सेड व्हाई नॉट यू क्रिएट आवर प्राइवेट सर्विसेज और एग्रीगेटर सर्विसेज एट पार विद द स्टेट रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट. दे कैन प्रूव यू मच बेटर लाइक इन एयरलाइंस. तो हमारे पास है. अब मैं आपको जो बात कर रहा था अभी तक, तो मैंने प्रॉब्लम्स की बात बताई, सॉल्यूशंस की बात बताता हूँ कि सॉल्यूशन जो STA, आई बिलीव एवरीबडी इज अवेयर अबाउट द STA. STA का मतलब होता है जो परमिट देने वाली बॉडी. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी नीड ए सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक इन आवर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन रेगुलेशन. टोटली चेंज करने की जरूरत है. STA को बंद करने की जरूरत है. ओनली इफ दे जस्ट ऑथराइज डिफरेंट एग्रीगेटर्स. गवर्नमेंट शुड ऑल्सो कॉन्स्टिट्यूट देयर ओन एग्रीगेटर्स. एवरीथिंग विल बी मेंटेन्ड. क्योंकि आपको उसके बाद में यू विल गेट ए प्रॉपर फेयर. देयर विल वॉन्ट बी एनी कंपटीशन. कंपटीशन वुड बी इन द सर्विस लेवल्स. आपके अगर अच्छे सर्विस लेवल हो गए, यू विल गेट हाई प्राइस. इफ यू डोंट कीप द सर्विस लेवल गुड, यू मे हैव चैलेंज विद द कस्टमर्स. तो अपने आप सेल्फ रेगुलेशन होगा, रोड सेफ्टी अपने आप आएगी, पैसा आपके पास सस्टेनेबल बिजनेस मिलेगा. हमें ओला उबर अभी जैसे अर्बन कंपनी के बारे में बताया, पोर्टर्स ने देखा, स्विगी, जोमेटो. तो ये सब लोगों से जो हमने सीखा है, लेट इट बी टॉट टू द गवर्नमेंट. यही हमारे को करने की ज़रूरत है. और हमारा जो दूसरा जो बात है कि जिसकी हम मल्टी मॉडल सर्विसेज की बात करते हैं, इंटीग्रेशन एंड टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करते हैं, यू गिव इट टू द एग्रीगेटर्स. दे विल एंड कंपनी, यू ऑल कैन मेक योर ओन एग्रीगेटर्स एंड यू कैन डू बिजनेस. एंड व्हाट वी टॉक ऑफ द फ्यूचरिस्टिक मॉडल इन इंडिया ऑल्सो. सो अभी जैसे आपने बात कही सिंगापुर की, तो सर सिंगापुर में भी तो एग्रीगेटर हैं. मैं जब सिंगापुर में 2001 में गया था, तो देर वॉज ओनली 1 or 2 टैक्सी एग्रीगेटर्स. नाउ देर आर 5-7 or so, and in the buses now instead of 1 there are 3 or 4. So aggregator, they make their own competition based upon their merit and they are doing best. So that could be the best model. तो हम उसी में कर सकते हैं. और फाइनली इस येलो प्लेट को डिस्टिंक्शन बंद कराने की जरूरत है एंड वी कैन यूज द टेक्नोलॉजी।
कोई भी प्लेट में देखो, QR कोड लगा दो, स्कैन करो, नंबर पता चल जाएगा।
पता है ना, तो पर ये तो नहीं है, वो खड़ी गाड़ी को जो लूट मारी हो रही है, अब इसी वजह से ओवर चार्जिंग हो रहा है, क्योंकि दीज पीपल आर हरेस्ड, सो दे हरेस द कस्टमर्स।
सर ये आपकी बात ना एकदम अंदर से आ रही है, दिल से आ रही है, पूरी कुंडलिनी अनलीश हो रही है। आई कैन सी दैट बिकॉज यू नो दिस इज ऑल्सो फ्रस्ट्रेशन ऑफ डेकेड्स बिकॉज ही हैज वर्कड इन द गवर्नमेंट एंड ही हिमसेल्फ फेल्ट लिटिल यू नो हेल्पलेस कि ये चीज़ें क्यों नहीं हो रही हैं। नाउ ही इज आउट, सो ही वांट्स दीज रिफॉर्म्स टू हैपन इन फ्रंट ऑफ हिम। तो एक काम करते हैं, जैसे हमने लास्ट ईयर भी किया था AIMTC के साथ, लेट्स प्रिपेयर अ डॉक्यूमेंट, उस पर सारे हम सजेशंस डाल के एंड देन अगेन आई एम अनाउंस फ्रॉम द वेब स्टेज, we will vet those, ratify them, and then we will send it to the think tanks and the government. नीति से भी आज एक सज्जन आने वाले थे, I don't know कब आते हैं, but we will surely submit it to them. Sir, and we will follow up, not just submit, follow up. क्या हुआ इस पे, क्या हुआ इस पे, आगे कुछ बढ़ा, कुछ बात हुई, तो सबकी बात हम सुन के एक डॉक्यूमेंट बना लेंगे, ठीक है? अच्छा, now that the time is up, any questions by the way before we wrap up the panel? Any question? या सब एकदम बढ़िया? You want to have tea, coffee right away? No question. So before we end then, so quickly 15 seconds key takeaway from each speaker, right? So Kapil, if we can start again with you. So quickly 15 to 20 seconds key takeaway of what you feel is of the entire discussion and what should be our way forward.
तो बहुत सारी समस्याएं ज़रूर सुनने को मिली है और मुझे लगता है कि द पाथ हेयर इज़ टू मेक इट इवन मोर वोकल अबाउट देम एंड एक बार वोकल बनेंगे और उसमें स्ट्रेंथ आएगी, देन ओनली इट वुड बी हर्ड, मुझे ऐसा लगता है। पिछले 2 वीक से मैं बहुत स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूँ सर फिटनेस कराने के लिए ईवीज़ का। मैंने इंस्पेक्टर साहब से पूछा कि सर फिटनेस करोगे क्या? बोला नहीं, आप पेंट वेंट और लाइट वाइट ठीक कर दो, इंजन का तो हमारे पास इसमें है नहीं, ईवी बैटरी काम कर नहीं सकते, तो दिस इज व्हाट इज
उसका PUC कहाँ से कराओगे?
PUC तो होता नहीं है कर उसका।
आपको मैं बताऊँ, देयर हैड बीन प्रोविजंस एंड आई गॉट दीज इक्विपमेंट्स इन दिल्ली, procured from our operator, or protocols थे, but by that time I got retired, and the training which I could impart them, I think they have kept those equipments in lock and key, and they are also not aware what exactly is needed to be done for the electrical vehicles, but there are checks. There are checks for the charging, during charging, as well as for the earthing kind of thing. So tests are there available.
अभी फैसिलिटीज थी नहीं तो ये आंसर मिला, अभी गेट इट।
पूरे भारत में नहीं है सर,
exactly.
पूरे भारत में नहीं है। इट वाज ओनली आई थिंक बिकॉज ऑफ, आप जानते हैं कि इंस्पायर अनुज जी से था, ड्यूरिंग सर्विसेज आई गॉट इंस्पायर्ड, सो आई केप्ट ऑन डूइंग व्हाट वी कैन डू बेस्ट।
मेरे मालिक विद साहब की टेक अवे।
आई थिंक मेरा बड़ा एक स्ट्रॉन्ग व्यू रहा है कि एज फार एज दिस इंडस्ट्री इज़ कंसर्न, वाइल यू नो द इंडस्ट्री इज़ फ्रेगमेंटेड, आई थिंक नाउ देर आर ए लॉट ऑफ लार्ज प्लेयर्स विच हैव emerged nationally, regionally, state wise, etc. I think all of us have to come to one forum, and we have to use that forum to put pressure on the government, because I think instead of promoting this industry, the government is actually only trying to, as Chhikara Sahab said, control it for various objectives, and you know, I don't need to go into what objectives the center has, the states have, and you know, various people have, but I think that's a very critical requirement. I think Anuj is helping us to talk about these things on this platform, but our friends like Satish, etc., who are leading this industry in various parts, but there are other people in different states. We should all try and come to one forum and you know, try and use that, because ultimately, you know, I can assure you, and I'll just take 1 minute.
Sure, sir.
During the pandemic period, the entire tourism industry in India kept crying, and I know personally that what finally happened is that when they went to the tourism ministry, at one point of time they were asked, how many members do you have? And each of those entities, you know, which are supposed to be leading the industry, they had about 1,000 members, whereas everyone talks about millions and millions of people who are involved into tourism, and the minister threw them out and said, yaar baat suno, You can keep on claiming that you represent the industry, but actually you don't. Because if you talk about 5 million, 10 million, 20 million people who are involved into this industry, and you have less than 1,000 members, what representation are you talking about? So who are you? And I think this industry is a similar industry. We have millions of people who are involved into this, but they are not organized. And I think each body like ITA and whoever else is also there must take it upon themselves to make sure that we all come to one forum, because strength is finally what the government will listen to.
Exactly.
Otherwise they don't listen
Numbers.
to it.
मतलब एक जैसे ड्राइवर्स पासपोर्ट है, एक स्मार्ट डिजिटल कार्ड हो सबका, all the people, employees, drivers, helpers, employees, coordinators, owners, leadership team, उसी में उनके डिटेल्स हैं, उसी में उनका ग्रुप हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस है, उसमें उनका पूरा लॉग है, ड्राइवर्स के कितने चलान वलान हुए, क्या उनकी क्या परफॉर्मेंस है, उनकी परफॉर्मेंस का रेटिंग हो गया सेफ्टी का, उस पर उनका RNR होगा, रिवॉर्ड एंड रिकग्निशन, गिव यू रिवॉर्डिंग अ सेफ ड्राइवर. We, as I mentioned, we hire a lot of cars and I tend to talk to the drivers. So there is company. So half a dozen drivers I've spoken to, I asked them, आप कहाँ पे जाना पसंद करते हो, ड्यूटी पे कहाँ पसंद नहीं करते हो? कहते हैं पसंद हम हर जगह करते हैं, ना पसंद जा करते हैं वो आपको बता देते हैं साहब. मैं कहाँ पसंद नहीं करते? कह रहा है ये ना हमारे जो बाबू हैं सेठ मंत्री काफ़ी इनसे गाड़ियाँ लेते हैं, हम मंत्रियों के आना ड्यूटी करने में हमें बहुत सर दर्द होता है. मैं क्यों? कहता है उनके PA उनके OSD कहते हैं PRO 150 की स्पीड पे गाड़ी भगवाते हैं हमसे, जल्दी पहुँचो मंत्री जी लेट हो जाएंगे, मंत्री जी वेट कर रहे हैं, हमें रुकने नहीं देते गाड़ी, पानी पीने के लिए, वॉशरूम जाने के लिए, नॉन स्टॉप जाना है. कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी आई विल नॉट नेम, दे टोल्ड मी द मिनिस्टर्स नेम्स ऑल्सो, दे ओपन अप. मतलब ये बात शायद वर्ल्ड ऑटो फोरम में ही आप सुन सकते हो क्योंकि बाकी जगह इश्यूज हो जाते हैं, बट जो मंत्री लोग फीता काट रहे होते हैं वही कह रहे होते हैं 150 पे चला गाड़ी. जो रोड सेफ्टी का फीता काट रहे होते हैं वो कहते हैं भाई जल्दी चला, मैं लेट हो जाऊंगा अपनी रैली के लिए. उसको पानी भी नहीं पीने देते, उसको वॉशरूम नहीं जाने देते, कहते हैं हमें मंत्री के साथ ड्यूटी नहीं करनी है. सो देर आर इशूज ऑल्सो ऑफ हिपोक्रेसी, which we have to fix. Lead the example, lead by example. So Karun, key takeaway?
So I think Rajiv sir already mentioned it, consolidated forum which can help a representation towards the government, and wherein obviously it can be an aggregated forum wherein OEMs are also part of it and the entire ecosystem is part of it, so that the strength of that forum becomes much bigger rather than only the so-called the fleet operators. And one more thing, especially on the which is an extension of yellow board going away, and things like a peer-to-peer subscription or the peer-to-peer rentals. So that can lead to that in a legal way, though it's already happening right now, but still there are gray areas where the legality is question marked. So I think that can lead to that also, which open doors for everyone to put a cab, kind of a cab.
You know what that will also do? That will also remove the need for OEMs to say that, oh, this car model I will only give for private. And this has been an issue forever. Every manufacturer says that, oh, these 4 models that I have, they are only for private market, I will not give it to the commercial market. Do I not pay the same price here? I pay the same price.
Probably higher.
And my car, when I buy a car, that is more visible, it runs more. But because of this distinction, the manufacturers are able to do that, which is a discriminatory practice, and you all must stop.
Karun sounds familiar, right?
So my summation is that, I was reading some research that by 2030 the industry will get double. So this is the right time we should get together and start fighting with policies so that next 5 years are good for us.
Not much more to add. I think it's kind of been said. It has to be one voice. I think the issues are recognized, shared by everybody. So probably some effort in forming that forum then.
So from my side, that Anuj, you please compile the issues. And
done, sir.
And as far as elevation of the issues to the government, ITA we do have, BOKI we have, even AIMTC we do have, And now it seems that central government is also willing to talk to the stakeholders. And but agar हमने ये miss कर दिया, if we miss this opportunity, maybe decades we cannot improve. So this is the right time, and let us, this discrimination, this yellow plate discrimination, I really feel pain to see the plight of the drivers and even the operators. You can run your vehicle at any speed, 200 or whatever, but not these vehicles which you have paid to the higher model or higher pricing, but you have been curbed.
So mota जो मुझे बात समझ में आ रही ना sir, there are many bodies. We have ETA, we have AIMTC. So we all need to come together because unity is strength. क्योंकि issues are common.
Definitely.
And जो विद साहब ने इतनी प्यारी बात बोली कि we cannot talk about thousands of numbers. We have to actually represent our industry in its true honesty. That is millions of numbers. Only then the government will sit up and listen. Because for them it's a vote bank. So when we talk about the numbers in the right way, when we are all together in synergy, magic will surely happen. Magic.
Definitely. एक और मैं आपको just to share everyone. Government has made provision of National Road Safety Board. And in National Road Safety Board, it is not confined to IAS or state officers. It will be combination with the transporters also. So that, that case is pending with the Prime Minister. But if we make a noise throughout the country, definitely it will come. And that will be the best platform to reform.
So that was the key point in the Motor Vehicle Amendment Act also.
Yeah, it is
that
already
was the main point there.
It is already, everything has been done.
Fantastic.
Even they have also identified space in Dwarka.
Okay,
so
Satish ji wants to add something and then we wrap up the program. Deepti, then it's all yours.
With साहब, thanks. जैसा कि विद साहब ने कहा, इंडस्ट्री, कौन सी इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहे थे सर? They say that it's tourism industry. There is no such industry. एक नाम मिला है हमारे को बताने के लिए, एक्चुअल में नहीं है. हम सब ऐसी फोरम में बात करते हैं अक्सर, वी टॉक, वी से दैट विल डू दिस, विल डू दैट, बट हमारे देश में एवरीथिंग वर्क्स ऑन फियर फ्यूल, डर. हमारा डर किसी को नहीं है, हमें उनका बहुत डर है. तो वी हैव टू चेंज दी सिनेरियो, वी हैव टू टेल देम दी स्ट्रेंथ जो हमारी है. हमारे को, मैं गांव का रहने वाला हूं, तो हमारे यहाँ पे कहते हैं कि हाथी को ये नहीं पता कि इसमें कितनी जान है. जिस दिन हाथी को ये पता चल गया कि इसमें कितनी जान है, वो सब कुछ पलट देगा. तो हमारे अंदर जो हाथी है उसे जगाना है. छिकारा साहब से साथ बैठ के भी काफ़ी मीटिंग्स हुई हैं और आमने सामने भी हुई हैं. दिल्ली सरकार के ऊपर हमने मुकदमा डाल रखा है पैनिक बटन्स को और गवर्नर्स को लेके हाई कोर्ट में, और काफ़ी हद तक फाइनल स्टेजेस पे हैं. हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि हमें रिलीफ मिलेगा, क्योंकि मेरा बेटा अभी उसने 15 दिन पहले गाड़ी चलानी सीखी है और वो एक गाड़ी लेके हाईवे पे निकल जाता है 140 की स्पीड पे. आती नहीं उसे गाड़ी भी ढंग से चलानी है. लेकिन मेरा एक ड्राइवर जो पिछले 25 साल से कॉमर्शियली ड्राइविंग कर रहा है, हर 4 साल बाद काउंसलिंग के लिए जाता है, लाइसेंस रिन्यूअल के लिए जाता है, सब कुछ करता है, वो 80 से ऊपर नहीं चला सकता. गडकरी हमने सवाल किए थे कि सर हाईवे तो बना दिया आपने 140 पे चलाने वाले, और आप कहते हो कि बॉम्बे हम आपको 12-14 घंटे में पहुंचा देंगे. हमारी गाड़ियां नहीं पहुंच सकती. मर्सिडीज हमारे को गाड़ी नहीं बेचती टैक्सी में, क्योंकि उनके काफ़ी मॉडल्स में गवर्नर नहीं है. दे कैन नॉट सेल दीज कार्स इन एनसीआर. तो दे से दैट की अगर आपको टैक्सी में लेनी है तो हम नहीं देंगे. नो, थिंक ऑफ इट. हाउ वी गोइंग टू मैच दी इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स? क्या हम कर सकते हैं? नहीं. माई हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट इज, बीइंग प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ ईटा, वी हैव बीन गोइंग टू डिफरेंट स्टेट्स. हमने पहला शुरुआत आगरा से की थी, फिर हम बॉम्बे गए, उदयपुर गए, अभी हम अहमदाबाद जा रहे हैं, उसके बाद हम बेंगलोर जा रहे हैं. एंड वी आर ट्राइंग टू टेल पीपल टू कम अंडर वन अम्ब्रेला. आई डोंट माइंड, मैं पूरी ईटा लेके किसी भी अच्छी एसोसिएशन के साथ जो इस में काम करना चाहती है, बहुत खुशी से मिलना चाहूँगा. और अगर कोई नहीं करना चाहता तो भाई हमारे साथ मिलो. द गेम इज ऑफ नंबर्स. मैंने जब ईटा को टेक ओवर किया था, वी वर अराउंड 225, 230 पीपल. सर, वी हैव क्रॉस 500 एंड माई टारगेट इज बाय एंड ऑफ दिस ईयर विल बी 1000 प्लस. एंड फिर हम एसोसिएशन की तरफ से बात करने जाएंगे सरकार से. वजन चाहिए, वो वजन 400-500 लोगों से नहीं हो सकता. वो मंत्री पहले होमवर्क करता है, पूछता है कि जो आया इसके पीछे कितने लोग हैं, और जो कहते हैं कि 250-300, कहते हैं इसको बाहर बैठा, बाद में देखेंगे. जब पता चलता है कि इसके पीछे लाखों लोग हैं, तो मंत्री खुद बाहर आपको रिसीव करने आता है कि अरे सर आप क्यों आए, मुझे बता देते. तो इट्स ऑल नंबर्स गेम. तो वी हैव टू. मुझे याद है छिकारा साहब, एक वो पंगा हुआ था जब हमने हाईवे को जाम कर दिया था यहीं इसके सामने. मेरी काफ़ी पुरानी बात है, मेरी 8-10 सूमो बंद हो गई थी उस टाइम पे, और 8 घंटे का जाम लगाया था हमने. अगले दिन हियरिंग थी, और जिस हियरिंग के लिए होने वाला था कि हमारे पक्ष में बात नहीं आनी थी, पैनल ने पूरी डिसीजन दिया था कि नहीं, वी विल नॉट गो फॉर दिस. मैं तो अंत यही देखता हूँ, क्योंकि ये सरकार चिट्ठियों की भाषा तो नहीं समझेगी. लिखते रहो. I know, I'm sorry, which sab, I'm talking which this panel will not agree, but we guys are known for this. We have to go for this. So somewhere we have to tell them कि okay, if not this, then stop it. We have to go for this because हमारा सब कुछ इसमें इन्वॉल्व.
सतीश जी, वेरी वैलिड पॉइंट्स. इसमें जो आपने बोला ना, आपने खुद ही इसका सोल्यूशन दिया है. द गेम इज ऑफ नंबर्स. तो इसमें सेशंस के बाद ना, लेट्स ऑल्सो ट्राई टू वर्क आउट हाउ वी कैन शो द रियल नंबर्स. जैसे अभी आप 250 की बात कर रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं 500 तक आप पहुंच गए हैं. रियल नंबर्स हैं. अगर आप सारे ड्राइवर्स को जोड़ दें, आपने सारे एसोसिएट्स को जोड़ दें, कोऑर्डिनेटर्स, उनके एम्प्लॉइज, तो हम इसमें भी हम डिटेल में बात करेंगे. हमारी पैनल भी है,
अपने अपने काम में इतने बिजी रहते हैं. हम जैसे सर ने कहा ना कि वो 1000 कंपोनेंट्स के साथ बड़े प्यार से काम करते थे, 2 से करना बहुत मुश्किल है. ये सब 2 से ही में बिजी इतने हो जाते हैं. विद साहब, और ऐसे हमारे इंडस्ट्री में काफ़ी विद साहब हैं जो अगर समय निकालें और इस बारे में सोचें, तो दुनिया की कोई ताकत नहीं है कि हम रुकेंगे.
श्योर सर, टोटली एग्री. और बाकी फिर टी कॉफी में चर्चा करते हैं. एंड लेट्स रेक अप द नंबर्स आगे बढ़ाते हैं. अपने जितने ड्राइवर्स हैं उनको तो हम जोड़ते हैं. सर, अब कंपनी का नाम ना जाए, ड्राइवर्स, एम्प्लॉय सबके नाम जाए. सो दीप्ति, ओवर टू यू. थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स. आई होप इट वाज बेनिफिशियल. थैंक यू.
How real, how conversational, how cool and how candid can it get? My takeaway, हाथी जगाओ, आवाज़ उठाओ, भीड़ बढ़ाओ, okay? For someone who's totally naive to the entire concept, this is what I could make out, and I totally agree with Satish ji and our wonderful panelists. And before we go ahead, I want all of you to show a loud round of applause for our esteemed panelists here and our chair, Mr. Anuj Guglani. Thank you. And thank you everyone. And it's time for felicitation. So I would like to call on stage representatives from Volkswagen, Global Assure and Nippon Paint. If I may have them quickly here on stage. Yes, she's here. Come, come, lovely lady. What an endearing smile you're having. Lovely. And can we have someone from Shriram Auto Mall? Thank you, sir. And to begin with the felicitation, I would like to bring forth Mr. Rajiv. Sir, please come forward. Please come, sir. Come, come, come. You both are going to felicitate, all right? Yeah, so just move forward, all three of you. Center will make a better picture. So if you can just shift in the center for the picture. Lovely. So you can join me. Yes. Sitting for too long, right? I told you, if you clap loudly, we'll consider it as the cardio for today. Lovely. Next one is Mr. Karun Gupta. Sir, please come forward. Give. Lovely. Sir, you can go ahead for the picture. Yeah. Wait. Sir. Karun sir, if you can just come forward for the picture. Yeah. Next, I would like to call forward Mr. Prravesh Dangi. Sir. Thank you, sir. Next, let's call forward Mr. Bikash Madan. Lovely. Next, Mr. Kapil Sharma. Sir, please come forward. And now, with a lot of pride and happiness, I bring forth Mr. Anil Chhikara, sir. Thank you, everyone. Please come forward for a picture, all of you. With your certificates, I want you all to give a warm smile. Lovely. Lovely. Such a gorgeous audience we have. They are clapping even without me asking them doing it.
Yellow Plate Dialogues powered by Škoda.